Who's going fishing Sunday?
I am. Let's go.
Let's go.
I am.
I'm in.
What? Wait. Can you put that cat down?
Yeah.
The cat's in.
I was trying to be a Bond villain. I apologize.
Yeah.
It's warm by this fire, Buck.
We're not even in the fire. We need to jump in the current.
We got to cool off in the current.
I just want everyone to know, I mean, we say it all the time. You have 7 best friends when you tune into us every week.
And it's wild because we used to say that, but now it's so real.
And it was just a real existential morning, guys.
God, existential.
Did you short drift them?
Well,
That's a yes.
That's what the Canadians say, no bueno.
No bueno.
If there is a traditional Canadian saying, no bueno.
welcome back to the Rutten River Pursuits podcast. You are in the current.
You're in the current.
This is Reality Outdoor Radio, where our mission is to get you outdoors by connecting you with the people, products, and services you can trust. I'm Steve.
I'm Will.
Hey, it's Bucky.
This is Dave.
I'm Catfish.
And it's Trout of Control April.
You're still trout of controlling?
Yeah, I didn't
Longest month of my life.
I didn't think anything could get me as excited as March Striper Madness, but we found it.
You
I'm
arrived.
there.
Yeah, you've arrived.
I'm there.
I'm 50-50.
Are you?
Well, I'm all right with the Sonic campfire being trout of control, but I, this is where I'm with Catfish. We can not have to talk about
Come on,
trout
Buck.
all the time.
Well, it's-
in the current.
If you're doing the trout kind of things, you should be talking about it. But if you're not, I'm sure you have other
No
things
pressure.
going on, Buck. Do you have anything else going
Oh,
on?
I have. We can get to that later.
Well,
but I was just making the
first,
point.
I just love you. I love the fact that we can be brothers.
Yeah.
I give you a whole month to feel good about yourself because I'm not talking about snakehead fishing. I'm not talking about scouting turkeys. I'm not.
Oh, we'll have
All the
plenty
things that
other
happen,
months for
all the
that.
thing that happens in April, we don't talk about anymore. We talk about your trout obsession.
We'll have plenty of other months for that. Don't you worry, bud.
But they'll be over because I'm doing them now.
And
But
that-
we're going to condense it all together along with archery and rifle season in November.
and that
I love you. You have your own special month. I'm here to support you.
But that's where I was. That's the point I was trying to make.
Bucky, what
Sometimes
point are you trying to
he
make?
was trying to make a point.
Oh,
Let's hear this
I'm so
point.
sorry.
The current is also for what is currently going on, and Catfish makes a very good case with. He's scouting turkey.
Well,
right
I would
now.
love if that's the case. I would love to hear about that.
And that's
in this
something
week's
very important.
But so I went trout fishing last week.
Speaking of trout,
Catfish, I tried, but I want it on the record.
I love. I'm fully after all these years. I'm more than a brother that can go, Stevie, please, by all means, have your own month. Oh, I'm sorry, have your own second month in a row. And next month, we'll give you one more. And then after that, I'm taking over.
No, this is
We're punting next month.
next month. We have something special, something else special that's not fishing related.
Which
coming
is?
up.
You'll have to wait.
You'll have to tune in.
Oh, yeah, not that. I'm on this podcast. I can't even know ahead of time.
It has something to do with turkeys.
I don't know if I want to talk about that either. No, it's good.
You can't make him happy.
I'm only busting on you. You please. I knew that April was coming and I would have to sit here and eat paydays. So I'm good.
Yeah. Very cool.
Well, as long as we're talking about trout, we got to get Brandon from the Donegal Fish and Conservation Association. Let's get him on the line, find out what's going on over there.
Cool.
Hey, Brandon, how you doing?
Great. Just had a great day.
Did you? What'd you do today?
What'd you do?
I was at the Lancaster County Conservancy getting my habitat stewardship training going on. So I can learn more about the trout of control.
So you're pretty trout of control today.
That's cool. How was opening day for you guys this year?
Well, it was pretty good. I mean, we had cars packed along 772, our bait section of Donegal Creek.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't stocked, there was still plenty of fish caught. So, I mean, well, it was stocked by the club, late last fall.
Yeah.
And there's always holdovers in there and a mix of some wild browns as well. So, one guy caught on a minnow, man. He caught a 17-inch wild brown right out from under the bridge.
What?
Really?
Yeah. You wouldn't think, looking at the water, you wouldn't think he's in there, but he was in there.
How old is a 17-inch wild brown?
I'd give it about 4 or 5 years, probably.
No kidding.
If it was a holdover, yes. If it was, at that rate, it could be older than that.
Yeah.
If it was a wild, but it's really hard to tell between the wilds and the holdovers.
But we're talking, it's years and years old, not last year, this year.
No, that's probably a couple years.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. So what's going on with the club this week?
Kids Day was an absolutely great turnout.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is year after year too. More kids turn out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think this one guy is going to be it's a little more popular because of what's been going on with the club, and we've been getting ourselves back out there in the public. So
sure,
yeah,
sure,
that makes sense.
Anything else going on with the club?
Well, our work parties, our next meeting actually is April 15th. It's going to be in the back room of Shank's Tavern in Marietta.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if anyone is in the area and you want to come out and check out the club and see what we're all about, that's a great spot to do it. It's a public meeting, so we do it every third Monday. So
you have some restoration projects going on with the club right now, right?
Yes.
What's the deal with those?
Well, first is nursery. Right now, we got to fix it. So it's just a lot of grunt work. It's going to be a lot of digging stones and laying the walls back down, and so we're going to have to try and figure out a way to divert flood water away from where it's coming down from. There's a lot of new stuff developments is going around.
Yeah.
And we're getting a lot of flood water, a lot more than we used to.
And to remind people that didn't just hear to the back episode, you guys had some flood damage as we had over 3 inches of rain in 24 hours. Yeah.
Yep.
It was really bad.
Is this something that you have like every spring that it kind of reoccurs, or this year has been exceptionally bad?
Well, this year has been exceptionally bad. The nursery's been standing for decades, so I've never had a flood as bad as this one. So there's been other floods, but a lot of them they didn't lose as much.
How long do you figure that's going to take to get you guys back up and running full strength?
Well, this is why I appreciate you guys inviting me to the podcast, because we need this thing up and running by June, so that the state can give us our new fingerlings. So
gotcha.
So when you lost everything, so you're starting from scratch. So the fingerlings you get in June, how long will that take them to grow to the point where you can stock them?
Oh, next year. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the hatchery fish, they get fed a high protein diet, so they grow incredibly fast.
So how big's a fingerling roughly? We like 3-4 inches?
4 inches,
like a finger.
4 inches, 3 inches, somewhere around that area. Yeah.
So it can grow to legal size in a year, basically.
Oh, in 6 months, really.
Wow.
Yeah, they eat those pellets every day, and they get big real quick.
Well, there's power in numbers, and are you taking volunteer work to help you rebuild the hatchery then?
Yes, and that's where I'm really glad to be on the podcast and everything, because if you check out the Facebook page or email us, you can find out when we're doing all these projects, all these work parties that are coming up.
Okay.
Gotcha. Brandon, on a normal day, whenever everything's working perfectly and the fish are growing like crazy, what can you kind of let us in on what a normal stocking schedule would be for the Conservation Group Association and the Donegal Creek?
Well, we would have loved to stock, early March for the bait section. Yeah. And in the fly fishing section, we like to do the same as well, but we also like to do a fall stocking, usually around November.
Do you notice people taking fish out of the fly fishing section, or is that more catch and release?
The whole fly fishing section is catch and release.
Okay.
It's a 2.2 mile stretch.
Okay.
Basically, it's 100 yards down from the bait section at 772 Bridge, and it extends a little bit farther past Marietta Avenue.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. But people do tend to go down there and catch some fish and take them home. Can't stop them all.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Yeah.
Cool.
Brandon, what do you like to do? You like to fly fish, or you bait
Yeah,
fish?
you know, up until a couple of years ago, I'd go back and forth, but I'm pretty much exclusively a fly fisherman now. Now that I've gotten all the nymphing and the strip setting, and there's so many different ways to fly fish. There's only one way to spin fish.
I heard that.
That's why I got more into it.
Do you tie your own flies?
I do not.
No.
I would like to get into it, but right now I do not, because I'm surrounded by guys who do.
Yeah,
that's true.
I steal their flies.
That's a better idea, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I was surrounded by guys that made cast masters.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. They're expensive there. Yeah, they get pricey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brandon, thanks again for hanging out with us a little bit and keeping us up to date. I'm glad the kids' day worked out. Everything's, like I said, those pancakes are second.
No, you can't go wrong. Yeah.
So if people want to contact you about helping out, hop on over to your Facebook page and they can contact you through there?
Yep, you can go to the contact us on the Facebook page, or you can even email us at donegalfish@gmail.com.
Perfect. All right.
Roger that.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
See you next week.
See you, buddy.
Yep, bye-bye.
That's awesome. That kid's day is something else. I'm glad that he was able to jump on here and give us the old updates.
Definitely. Looking forward to keep talking to him.
Mm-hmm.
Good organization, doing some good things.
I don't want to talk about trout fishing all episode, so I think we should kick it off
with Bucky.
Because you had a pretty interesting non-trout fishing related week.
Super interesting non-trout fishing week.
For a guy who wants to get into trout fishing,
he sure isn't really. He's very.
You're not making any friends at this table.
He's in control.
Well, actually, this was something that I had planned back
before the game or the fishing.
Before the game commission decided
posted their date.
The first day of trout season is.
Well, before I committed to trout fishing.
Gotcha. Okay,
Fair enough.
I'm following you.
Understood.
We'll let you off the hook.
So to speak.
Said it.
The barb was
barbless. Go ahead, Bucks.
I set a date with Jay over at Underhill Forge.
Mm-hmm.
How about that guy?
What a cat.
Something else.
Dude, brothers don't shake hands.
Brothers got a hug?
Brothers got a hug. When it comes to Jay.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man.
I had a blast, guys.
What did you do?
What did you do, Buggy? Get on with it.
Yeah, seriously.
I
forged.
I forged.
You did some forging?
You're a forgeman.
A tomahawk.
What?
Yeah.
A tomahawk.
Yeah. I got my Daniel Day-Lewis on.
What?
Last of the Mohicans.
Oh,
reference.
I got you now. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
No.
No, I
hand
forged a New World, a colonial tomahawk.
Is that possible?
Yeah.
That sounds made up, Bucky.
Do I need to go get it for you, Steve?
I'll check it out.
Ting 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 ting.
How do you start forging a tomahawk?
We started off with a 1 inch by 1 inch by 4.5 inch billet of steel.
A chunk of cold steel.
Cold steel.
Yeah.
Go on.
And we marked out at one point, I believe, at 1.5 inches down the length. We marked a center point.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. And that's where we started. And that's the point.
So you put a hole in it.
Well, we just marked with a center punch, the center point, and that's where we took what they call a punch, and we punched. After we started heating the billet, we heated the billet after we made that center point.
What did you do with that? Did you put a hole in it?
And we drove this punch through
after you heated it.
Billet. Well, it was a process.
Okay.
I don't want to cheapen the experience, but it sounds like you probably put a hole in it.
We did.
Oh, go.
But it took us 4 hours.
How many smacks do you, with a hammer, do you think it took?
Honey smacks.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
No, like
I don't
how
know
many
about that.
times?
Sounds like math.
How many times do you have? 4 hours of
4
heating
hours.
and smacking,
Of
smacking and heating.
heating, and the 4 hours worth was not only
ting.
with the original punch, but then you take 4 mandrels,
Yeah,
and
I don't know,
basically
don't look at me.
they're
mandrels.
one was the first one was round.
Okay.
After you punch through initially, and that took a couple hours just to get through. Heating,
Patience,
reheating.
man.
Yes,
Wow.
and
A lot more. So let's just say this: when I made the knife with Jay, it sounds like a lot more forging happens with an anvil than it does a knife, because the forging part
With
for
the
me
tomahawk.
was not very much.
Yeah.
The hardening and the shaping and stuff like that kind of happened.
it was
quickly.
nothing but a repeat process of heating up in a forge, bringing your billet out
Yeah.
onto the anvil, using tongs, pinchers, calipers, whatever you want to call them. Everything's freaking hot, guys.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Sparks
It's a
flying.
forge.
Like do
Forge and fire.
do you have to wear like
I was
special
wearing
stuff?
safety glasses, because you don't want to take a hot frag to the eyes.
I heard
got
that.
I received some slag
You
down
got
the
hot
back,
frags down the back.
down the back of my shirt just from slamming the hammer down onto the iron. And
Wow.
but gosh, guys,
You put a whole new
There's
meaning to
that-
putting the hammer down.
that what an experience, though. I don't
Really?
think.
I mean, there's
other than
nothing
hunting,
about it that you-
other than hunting, there's nothing more primal.
Or
than,
manly. Like that's
Exactly.
Like,
That's
like
exactly
manly.
what-
Like I could just see you like
How
with
much
this
do you
forging
love
this
that
tomahawk
thing?
in
Like,
one
I
hand
saw
and
it. It
eating
looks
a pork
pretty
chop
nice.
in
I
the
love
other
it.
hand.
I love it.
Do you
I
sleep with it?
I touch it every day. I will admit,
There
I've
is
touched
something
it.
cool about it.
And the fact that it was like I made this, like
Yeah.
I took this, and this is
That came from you.
9 hours.
9 hours.
Yeah, and then Jay's standing there saying, in the process of all this, saying, "Yeah, I can make one of these in about an hour."
So that was that was my next question.
Yeah.
So I know how long it took me. It took me forever to make this knife. I know that you're saying it was 8 hours to make your knife. Like, how long does it
Between the
take, Jay?
goofing off and the
an hour and
horseplay,
15 minutes, he said, and that's just going to town.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is, and that's the great point that I want to make is, Jay and I worked with 2 other guys, so there was 3 of us.
So you were in a class.
In a class,
Yeah.
and there was 3 of us, and you know how
There are 3 other students.
2 others,
2 other students.
3 total,
Okay.
and you know why we like to go to see Captain Jimmy, because we are the first mate, and he's hollering at us in a way.
A loving way.
In a loving way, but you're doing a job though too.
Yeah.
No, you're left. No, your other left.
That's the experience you also get at Underhill. That's the way I felt.
He's a very good teacher.
A great teacher.
It's really interesting how he just, he's a dude about it, but he's a very good teacher.
And he stood back, and
So he wasn't. You were doing it.
yeah,
it sounds.
he was guiding. He was
Yeah.
shepherding. It wasn't making it no. It was okay. This is what you're going to do, and
Do it, Buck.
and do it.
Ting, 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 ting.
And gang. There's a lot of heavy hammering.
Did you make the handle too?
At the end, we just fired it and made
Made it look attractive.
yes, and
Gotcha.
then rubbed in some linseed oil with some turpentine and beeswax all combined,
Oh wow.
just to kind of work it over and make it smell good.
Yeah.
I put it in my beard. Let it
Did you?
shape Up. Yeah.
I thought it looked extra.
But
extra shiny.
I want to get back to the team aspect, though, guys,
Yeah.
because we really started to work into a rhythm with whose turn it was to pull their billet out, who was holding.
It was a round robin.
It was.
How long does it take to heat a billet?
It was about 5 minutes
It's
every.
not terrible, right? Gives you a
Yeah,
little bit
and
of
we-
break.
Right, and I got a good workout.
I bet.
I first expected I went into it thinking my upper body's going to be sore. I didn't realize after the first 4 hours how sore my hands were going to be.
Yeah, it's just heavy equipment.
Gripping all the time. Gripping and heavy stuff gripping. I will admit I missed the mandrel once, and I took a nice little 5-pound hammer to the fat part of my left hand.
I found out too, there are a lot of cues that you know, Jay's like, you know, if you do it the wrong way, you're going to wear out quicker. And he has, you know, just arm techniques and things like that preserve your body. So it sounds like Bucky
It's
started
funny.
out.
It wasn't unbearable, though.
It's funny
right?
you say that because
It's not that funny.
I didn't find it funny at all.
by the end of the
I'm
day,
not laughing.
by the end of the day, I was the perfect example of Jay's statement of, I did a class with all women and their pieces all turned out really good.
Bucky was the hottest.
Meaning that the ladies didn't necessarily go in there and just over muscle every hit, because
That makes
sometimes it was a waste of energy.
Okay.
And it's something that after going through, you learn experience every time you do it. It's just like what we do fishing, guys.
Yeah.
It's relatable. It's an experience, and every time we're putting that into our inner log. If we don't have an actual log like DK will use,
A written log.
but we put it into the mineral log. That the mental log of just learning that each time it's a building process, but.
How long do you think it would take you to make a tomahawk now?
Yeah.
Like if you go back there,
If I was doing it by myself,
Could you hammer one out?
you think like if I had you and Jay in like a race and said, you know, and you got like a 15-minute head
Mitch or
start.
whoever you were
I
with.
couldn't have done it. I can't do it by myself right now. I would need at least a second person to at least hold the
Like a
billet while I do the
tomahawk
pounding
relay.
Yeah.
at certain points. I would need a second person just as a spotter, if you will.
Yeah.
But
you could probably be, you know, much
But it was so
faster.
just a process of how you bring it out of the forge and put it onto the anvil with the prongs. Then you spin it around, and then you have to flip
cooking.
it over.
Sounds like eggs.
Yeah. Or a
But
steak.
this thing is 1,200 degrees.
That's hot.
Yeah, that's hot. Oh, you
But
said
it wasn't so physically taxing on you that you wanted to stop.
It sounded
right?
like it was pretty physically taxing.
But
It was. It was physically taxing.
physically
but
taxing.
it was
But
that.
wasn't to
it
the
was
point
that,
where you had to say that I can't do this, bro.
No, not at all. I
tapping out.
I persevered through, and it was more of a labor that at the end you were like, I'm better off for having gone through all. It was
It's a labor of love.
satisfaction. Yes,
You're
exactly.
not just buying it somewhere.
No,
you know what I mean?
no.
You're physically making it, and that's what I loved about it.
Jay made a pretty nice video that you were showing us tonight of that whole kind of your experience there, right?
Yes.
Oh, where do people see that?
At the Underhill Forge YouTube site.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Are you going to be sharing it to
I will
any of
be
your
sharing
properties?
that.
Yeah, there we
Yes,
go.
Yes, I will be sharing it out to my
So what do
properties.
you do? So you got this sweet tomahawk now. What do you do with it?
You
Chop
could-
up some green beans or something.
No, you could actually use it when you're outdoors camping, Stevie. When you're breaking
I
down
know.
your wood.
Was looking.
Yeah.
Remember last week I asked if you would give it to me to use. I needed a new camp axe. You said no. Get your own tomahawk.
He's selfish.
You can borrow it at times.
No, you ain't getting it back if I borrow it, bud.
No,
That makes sense.
It's like a bait cooler. You just don't get that back.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Speaking of bait coolers,
yes, but it was a great.
It's great to hear about it. It
Sounds like a
you
lot
had
of fun,
Great
bud.
time, yeah. And thanks to Jay.
I can't wait to go do it again with you guys and have that experience with you
Wouldn't
guys.
that be something? He's a good dude, that Jay.
Oh, he's a great
good
dude.
cat.
There's a lot
yeah.
of. Have you ever actually shaken the hand of a blacksmith? There's guys out there that like to squeeze your hand to say, "Hey, I'm strong." Jay lets off so he don't break your hand.
Oh man, guys, it's a primitive art really that's been perfected.
The only thing that I can possibly relate that to is my years of working at the railroad and car body, where two guys with massive 6-foot torches would heat car body up, and two guys with sledgehammers would try to straighten things out. And you're talking about sometimes an inch, a quarter inch to a half inch thick steel.
Yes.
And you're just working down the car body while not only like a 6-foot section is burning red hot on a train, and while other guys are like trying to twist it by welding tacks to the track with come-alongs, trying to pull this thing straight, where the car got hit by something, or possibly a car flipped and derailed, and we had to fix them.
And then once you get it to a certain point, it's sometimes just little soft little taps.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be rough with it.
It's amazing that metal can be pliable when it like that.
It's hot.
Workable.
The second that it starts to get a little bit cool, it's not pliable.
Nope.
Yep, it's gone. The moment's over. Just throw it back in the
Back
thing.
in the
Stop
furnace.
trying to
Back
work
on
at
it all day long, nothing's
9
gonna happen.
hours.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool.
I'm glad you got to do that, Bob.
Oh man, I can't wait to do it again. And I'll go and sweep the floors just to hang out and be a part of it. It's a great.
He's gonna Mr. Miyagi.
Yes.
Wax on, wax off over there, but till your grip gets as strong as you can make one of them in a couple hours.
Amen.
I had I'm going to jump in here real quick before these guys get out of control.
You had a cool weekend.
I had a nice little
Literally.
weekend myself. Ran over to
Just a hop, skip, and a jump
skip
away.
and a jump over to Utah, and I went skiing.
the Sunshine State.
Went skiing for the first time with some high school buddies, and boy, it was just incredible. I like to say that was one of those bucket list things, but it was like on the original bucket list, and you pick that bucket list up and you just blow the dust off of it, and oh yeah, there it is, ski the Rockies. So
Check.
check that one
Check
off.
and
You
check.
also did some snowmobiling.
Did some snowmobiling, and the craziest part for me was literally the altitude, and
It's crazy to feel that, isn't it?
Isn't it
Like the
weird?
toll on your body that it takes.
just watching TV or
Yeah, walking from like your car to the hotel.
it's like
room.
Is it that big of a deal?
you yawn
Yeah,
a little
really?
bit more. You feel like it's those moments where you forget to breathe, and you're just like, that happens way more. Like, it's crazy. You see all that stuff. You see pictures, internet, and books and things like that, movies, and it doesn't register until you see it for yourself.
Yeah.
The outdoor part of it, though, was it as beautiful as you can imagine?
Bob Ross painting couldn't do it justice.
easy now.
Yeah.
I bet it could almost do it justice. Let's not throw him under the bus.
On the way up from Salt Lake City to Park City, on the way up in the mountains, I saw 2 elk herds, and on the way back, I saw some mule deer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just on the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're just hanging out.
There's snow everywhere, and it's just, I don't know. There they are.
Now, the difference between skiing here in Pennsylvania and skiing out in Utah, when you fall down, does it cushion you?
So believe it or not, this is literally Park City's last week, and so a lot of it's already packed, and I didn't have a lot of the
Big powder, heavy
powder
deep
stuff.
powder
Yeah,
stuff.
we had just missed a snowstorm that was like a foot, but till we got to ski, they packed it
That's
down.
probably like nothing to them.
But
a foot of snow.
I will say, like some of the people were complaining out there that blah 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 blah. It's one of those situations where it's the best snow that you've ever skied on in Pennsylvania. That was like one of their worst days. They just don't
That's
know
kinda
what
what
it's
I
How
was
much of a
getting at,
difference? huh?
yeah, they just don't know what it's like. I had the best time ever. It was thrilling and scary and awkward.
Did you have a hot tub out in that cold weather?
We did, but I don't. We didn't use it.
I'd be living
Oh yeah, you would love it. You would
You
definitely.
guys
love it.
go skiing. I'll be right here. Bring me back some. I'm sure they don't have Yingling, but bring me back something close.
It took 4 lifts to get to the top.
That's
That's
crazy.
cool.
Yeah.
That's real cool.
Yep, and it was. I just can't even describe it.
Was John Denver accurate?
He's somewhat accurate.
Was he?
I know. I know. I said he's not been accurate in the past, but I believe that he was
Now that you see it,
fairly accurate. Rocky Mountain High. So, guys, did you guys fish at all?
Well, I'm glad you're back.
Thank
Because
you.
it's awkward when you're away.
Really?
It is a little.
The time difference.
Time difference and you being offline. Yeah.
I was purposefully offline. I did not.
Yeah.
I was in the moment. So, but did you guys get to fish at all?
Was there something to do? Did we fish? Can't remember.
Little.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, so it was opening day. So for Southeast region,
What'd you do?
I wetted a line
Did you?
for 2 days.
Yeah.
I did not do well at all.
Really?
There's a lot of people this year out.
There was.
Last year you had almost nobody. It seemed like you
Yeah,
just
last year was
killed it.
like empty. It was phenomenal. This year, like, it was a high of 70 on the opening day.
Yeah.
It was beautiful out. It was beautiful from 6 a.m. It was super nice. I think I drove a lot of people out. A lot of people that definitely wanted to get out. It was funny. Like at 8 a.m., my dad went along for the first time in like 10 years. He hasn't been out for a while for opening day, and I kind of set them all up. I had
You get it, what, 10-pound line?
no. I actually I had him all set up with all the good stuff. I went through all of his gear Friday night.
8-pound then,
No, he was using 6-pound fluoro.
which we know from your pastor's experience, he didn't catch very much on that 6-pound line either.
And he doesn't like to tie. He likes snelled packs of hooks.
Does
so
he?
he doesn't like tying the singles. So like the 6-pound doesn't matter really when you have those pre-lined anyways. And it's fluoro, so it's okay. But he's standing like literally right beside me and fishing practically the same setup. I'm on 4-pound tying direct to a hook. I'm probably using 12s and he was using 10s. Pretty much the same bait all morning. He's pulling fish out. And I'm not at all.
What?
Yeah, we were feet apart. It was just,
Spot.
it was the spot.
Yeah.
He was on the X, and it was good. It was fun to see him
You got to
get on.
bump him off at. Tell him to go get you a sandwich.
I did.
Stevie with his short drift.
Oh, I
Give me a
did.
sandwich, Pop.
Yeah,
I'll save this for
he
you.
was pulling one off the hook, so I stepped in that spot.
That's what I'm talking
I
about.
did catch one there.
There you go.
But it was
That's how
good.
you
It was good
gotta do
to
it.
get up to the family cabin.
Yeah.
I think I have not missed an opening morning up there since I started when I was 8.
No kidding.
Yeah, I was allowed to go when I was 8.
Wow.
And I've never missed the opening morning. In high school, I drove home after lunch to go to prom once or twice.
Yeah.
But, I still made it. For
After
opening.
you graduated.
No, this was when I was in high school.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't go to prom after I graduated.
Yeah, right.
No, I didn't.
Whatever,
Nope.
Deke.
That's what I like about them trout.
They always say the same.
Older I get, the more they stay the same age.
But it was good to see cousins and keep on going with the tradition that
is
my
cool.
family.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was good
That's
to be up.
good.
It was good to have Dad fishing
Is it like,
for trout season again.
do your family pick on each other? Like, Deke didn't catch anything this year?
Yeah. I mean, like,
Because, you seem kind of down. I mean,
I am.
You had a great time out. You said the weather was perfect.
It was good. I kind of know what a guide feels like, though, of like
Well, that's how you should spin it.
yeah. That's how I'm spinning it in my
Yeah.
head. But I'll get out again this weekend and get after him. So
Yeah.
That sounds like fishing with Justin Dean Corrigan.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he just catches everything all around you.
Right beside you, doing the same thing. So.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
He'll
But,
do that.
but it was
kid.
beautiful to get up there.
It was.
Was able to pull some tree stands up there, and
Oh, yeah?
yeah. So
Cool. I got out on Saturday, too.
yeah,
What'd you do?
I took my kayak out on the lake.
Did you?
Yeah, it was a beautiful morning.
Yes, it
And
was.
It was probably the nicest weather for opening day I can remember in a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. Calm water, hardly any wind at all. And the lake was packed. Every square inch of that lake
Same
was packed.
stuff, different year. Huh?
Same stuff, different year. Yep. But I had the exact opposite experience as you, bud. Second cast, I had a fish on,
oh, that's good.
and it was just, I could have limited out in 15 minutes, and it was just crazy. It was like that for a couple hours, and then it died, like it typically does in the late
Right.
morning. But it was an amazing morning. Oh man, was
All
it
in Castmasters.
Absolutely, yeah.
There you
This
go.
time, I always start with them. I don't always finish with them, but I always start with them.
I did have later in the day. we went back to, there's an area that has like a bigger hole in it in the stream section. It's kind of like a farm pond.
Yeah.
That, like the hole it was 2 old trees that died out and fell over. And it's just this big kind of pond in the middle of the stream. Mm-hmm. And they stock that pretty heavily. And like first thing, I barely ever go there first thing in the morning because it's just, that's the wall to wall people area.
Is it?
And I was throwing Castmasters in there in late afternoon, and I had 2 on and lost them within like 10 feet of myself. So they do work. That was the first time I ever fished Castmaster.
Really?
Yeah. So thanks for turning me on to that bait.
It. Yeah, it was. I caught a pickerel. And lost the pickerel. Right at a foot away from the kayak.
Did you lose the Castmaster?
And he took the Castmaster.
Yeah. Did it soft mouth you? But probably not.
I think he toothed it off. Yeah, I got cut off there, but
he was flossing.
Yeah, he was flossing. No, it was opening day was a great day, and I fished a few times this week, and it's been great. It seems like the Game Commission is. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but the size of the trout I'm catching this year is bigger than what I've caught in the past years. I don't know. Maybe it's just because we haven't caught a lot of trout in the last 4, 5, 6 months. Because
bigger than your ice fishing trout.
Maybe because the Fish Commission's taken over for the Game Commission.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, the Fish Commission.
There you go.
Good point. Yeah, it seems like they have been stocking, or at least what we're catching is bigger. And that could just be all in my head. I don't know. But
cool.
It's been all good stuff.
I don't think your head's gotten any bigger since we've done Trout at Control.
You can't sleep.
I can't sleep. No, that's the honest truth. I can't. I've been waking up early and going out and going at lunch and going after work and...
No, I get it. I feel it too.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I had to do.
Catfish, you been out at all?
Yeah, 5 days in a row.
Really?
Not for trout.
What was that cooler?
Yeah.
I bet you we caught close to 60, maybe 70, 80 small bullhead catfish.
Golly.
It was stupid. We ran into a really cool guy that had a F-250 with like 2 deep freezers in it. Mm-hmm. He sold live shiners, those weird minnows down there in Cambridge, Maryland. Just this old beat up white truck. I got his card. He's a waterman, like a crab fisherman.
He sold him out the truck?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah. So they weren't working. We ran into probably 30 other fishermen that are locals that fish die-hard snakeheads. So we went down for snakeheads, and low tide, heavy winds, really low tide. I've never seen the water that low, and it'd been like that for days. It never came up because of the wind, sustained wind.
Yeah, wind blowing it out.
Yep. The bait moved out, so did they. We did not catch a snakehead on this trip, and it was because of the tides, but we found this little spot next to a bridge, like in a channel, and we just slammed a bunch of these little catfish.
Really?
Yeah.
So you didn't get down there for catfish at all?
No, we just happened to catch one, and we cutting those live minnows in half for cut bait, and I'm like, we're catfishing now.
No, that's cool.
So I can't say I typically get made fun of for fishing or my technique, but boy, did I. So
who was it?
Everybody. I was the Guggen of Cambridge for a day.
Isn't that the title of your book or movie?
We got down. So I'm not going to say about mishaps with the wardens that pulled in, and there's a lot to the day.
There always is.
Yeah. It didn't go as planned. However,
neither
did the wind. It was cloudy and colder and windy, and it was supposed to be a nice day. But we ended up on this one bridge, and when we started catching catfish, I realized I'm just not ready. My arm's not ready. These little 8-inch catfish were really hurting my arm. So the very next one I hooked, I would fish right-handed, set the hook, change the rod to the left hand, flip it upside down, and reel backwards.
No way.
And a second warden had pulled in.
It's
and
like a
these guys
stranger.
These guys were watching me fish left-handed with an upside-down spinning reel, reeling backwards like, oh my God, look at this dude. And I had like a Walmart fishing rod. It was like $20.
You see those pictures of the guys online with all the memes.
That's offensive.
That was me all day, boss. And even one guy came over to me and snickered at me. He's like, you realize you don't reel that like that, right? I'm like, no, really. I had to fight.
This was my first time.
Couldn't you move the handle over?
I tried. It was so alien to me. I hated it. And I had practiced that for a few days at Lake Mead. I've caught some perch at Lake Mead. Bass really haven't turned on great yet. But I've caught some yellow perch. I was practicing fishing left-handed, reeling right-handed, and it's just so alien to try to work the bait left-handed that I found it easier to work the bait till I got a strike, set the hook, change hands, and reel backwards.
And now an excerpt from the Guggen of Cambridge.
Logan, I think, laughed harder at me than anybody.
Why didn't he take any pictures or video?
Oh, he was not in a good mood. I got the last laugh with him.
Did you?
Yeah, the warden got to talk to him down there.
So those mud cats or those bull cats.
The little
Bullheads.
bullheads.
Do you soak those fillets in anything?
I soaked them overnight in buttermilk. Yep.
Okay, because I've heard that they can have a little bit of like.
They can taste like the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially Blackwater, Maryland, the National Refuge. Yeah, so, and any catfish I catch, even here in the Susquehanna River, wherever, Juniata, I'll take the fillets off and I will soak them overnight in buttermilk, and then you take the fillets out the next day. They're white, and the milk's like a murky brown. It pulls the whole river right out of the fillets. So.
Good tip.
I do that with crappies sometimes if you're in a really dirty water area. Crappies a lot of times will. I don't know, their meat will just really adjust with water temperature versus water clarity. So, like even in the wintertime, we catch them through the ice. I find that it's just so much easier to not only clean, cook, and eat. They're more firm. They're more firm when you do a fish fry.
Yeah, those trout that we caught through the ice, I thought tasted different than normal trout.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They will.
Yeah.
So,
cold water.
It does it.
But other than that, I've been really busy. Those things I've told you about, I'm on light duty right now. I'm not allowed to lift 5 pounds, so I've been busy. All those things I said I'm going to take some time off this year and go work on my house.
Yeah,
I have been.
Yeah.
I haven't torn picnic tables apart and rebuilt steps with them, and I haven't rearranged the entire house. I haven't thrown away a bunch of grills and moved stuff per se. But I've been busy.
Catfish Latin.
I custom painted a mailbox one day because it was so windy that I couldn't fish. I got mad. And my mailbox has been falling apart for years. Remember we talked about it?
Yeah.
Well, I found an old mailbox and decided to refurbish it. And
really?
So we have
Is it big enough for Kennedy?
It was like a practice with the airbrush again. So I said, oh, look.
Is someone missing the mailbox?
I'm not saying that I found it on the ground. No. I was taking off. I was actually taking off work for a little while.
Yeah. You're back at it there now.
Yeah. And it wasn't a leave. I opted out to do the whole leave, and I did my own PTO time, took my vacation time, so I didn't have to do all that paperwork and argue with them. But I got to run home and see Dad and took him for a walk in his track chair.
Awesome.
And we actually jumped a buck with a half rack.
Oh, nice.
And probably the coolest thing I did in the last 5 days was part of that. I actually got to go further than ever with his track chair. We went about 2 miles from the house, mile and a half from the house roughly. And I reached a hollow that I haven't been to in many years. I stopped at an old fort that I had built when I was a kid where me and Will used to hang out as children.
Crazy.
And tattered, dry rotted, ripped up, still blue tarp, pieces of the blue tarp still on it. And I actually found, I'll send you a picture, I actually found one of my axes still in the fort from when I was a kid by the tree that we would chop on and try to chop it down and never did it.
That's cool.
Crazy. Yeah. I got a picture sent to me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
We used to sit there as kids.
Time capsule.
Yeah.
So that was. I sat down there for a little bit, and a lot of memories came back. And I texted Will right from the spot, and I'm like, "Do you remember this?"
That's neat.
Because we spent a lot of time here. So.
And you got that at altitude.
Oh yeah. When I got the text, that was really cool. No question about it. I write down memory lane that pictures were cool because you could kind of see the outline of the hollow that we used to look down over.
I wish you could have been there and seen like the panoramic like we used to. It hasn't changed much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy because for an area like that has never changed, it looks the same as it did when we were in second grade.
Yeah.
So.
No, I could see in the picture, like I said, it was very vivid for me as well. And I wasn't, the picture probably doesn't even do it justice.
I had one tragedy real quick.
Did you?
Thing.
What happened?
My license plate is all bent to HEL double hockey stick.
Your R2 license plate.
Yeah.
Your bumper license plate.
Yeah.
What'd you hit?
And the bumper license plate holder.
You don't spell.
Oh, no.
Double HLL double hockey stick.
Yeah.
Instead of
It's a lot of L's. Well, when I said it, there was a hell of a lot of L's at the end of it.
Gotcha.
With a couple O's in front of it.
What happened?
Were you scouting turkeys?
I was going to save this for next month since it's against the rules to talk about turkeys.
It is not. Talk away.
I come around a blind turn and wham.
Was he strutting?
No, it was a poor hen. She got it.
Oh boy!
And I felt bad. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't swerve because it was around a hard turn.
Yeah.
But the license plate saved my truck.
Did it?
Yeah. If you go look at it, it's all crumpled.
How often do you hit turkeys?
I've never hit one.
I've never
heard anyone hitting a turkey.
Yeah, I've never hit one.
And here's the wild thing: it was the only one there that I saw.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have time to look around for the flock, but. You come around the turn and wham, and I mean it made a loud sound. I thought I hit a deer, but I saw her at the last second.
Yeah.
We had 2 Sunday morning at the cabin in the front yard, 2 hens.
Did you?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, it sounds like we all had a pretty
busy week.
Good week.
Yeah.
Real good week. Yeah.
Were you looking forward to anything?
Tell them, Bucky. What are we doing?
I think we're after some American shad.
Yes, we are.
American shad.
With our buddy George and Josh, Pocono Outdoors guy, shad fishing off the boat this year. So
My first year.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
That's what
I can't
hearing.
sleep.
That's what I hear.
You're
Such
gonna
a
love
finicky fish.
It is.
Took me 5 hours to figure out how to catch one, and then I was on it.
Talk the dude's ear off.
Yeah.
Guy was 104 years old. Had shad tattoos up and down his arm.
Puck. Wasn't his name Puck?
I don't see
Yeah. I listened to that episode a couple weeks ago.
He's seen it all.
Yeah, he's
You ever
seen
see
it all.
them 4 slashes and then the slash across for 5?
Yeah.
This dude was covered with slashes.
No 5s.
No 5s. Just a bunch of 4-pounders.
Only got to 4 every day. 4.
Yeah.
We're gonna have
cool.
a great time. It's yeah.
Very cool.
By the
Can't
time
wait
this
to
is
hear
released,
about
it'll
it.
be over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear about
We
it.
had a great time.
Woo! Love those shad.
Will,
Yeah, buddy.
why don't you ask DK when we're not forging tomahawks and we're not trout fishing with 6.5-aught double each
8-pound.
hooks?
Yeah.
Yeah,
10-pound bobbers.
not using
Love
strike
those terminal
indicators.
tackles.
What's going on in July?
July, there will be the Smoke in the Grove Barbecue Festival. So
I love barbecue.
Don't miss all the action during the 3rd annual Smoke in the Grove Barbecue Festival, presented by Kenny's Market on July 26th and 27th in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. Over 50 professional KCBS teams will be competing for over $14,000 in cash prizes and the state championship title of Pennsylvania.
What's the KCB?
It's the Kansas City Barbecue Society of Barbecuers.
They're
That's
no
the
joke.
real
This is
deal.
professional barbecuers
Yeah,
coming
it
to
is.
this. You can enter by going to www.smokeinthegrove.com. There is actually
Go to smokingthegrove.com.
there is a backyard barbecue competition series too.
Are you entering this?
I am not, but I'll be
set.
attending. because there's a People's Choice event on Saturday, so you can try
yeah?
try pulled pork and vote for your favorite team.
Is there a
So you-
deer tallow?
No.
I want to
competition?
go eat it, but you don't want to cook it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why do I want to take 8 hours to make
For the
some
title
pulled pork?
of best barbecuer
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
true.
probably know the most about deer barbecues.
But there'll be live music, beer and wine tents, and food trucks available on Friday and Saturday.
That sounds like a great
Bunch
time.
of activities for kids and the whole family. So
Perfect.
check it out at smokingthegrove.com.
Thanks, Deke.
Yeah.
Roll up in there
SmokeGrove.com.
with salt, pepper, and sweet baby raisins. Like, I got this.
S&P is the choice for me.
There you go.
Heard that.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Hey, well, we're not going to barbecue festivals and we're hungry. What can we go to?
I go to mfjerky.com.
I would too.
Yeah, it's
Moses
the choice for
Family
me.
Jerky.
I took that Chesapeake off the table last week, and I took it to Cambridge.
Did
What
you?
happened?
It just tastes better in Cambridge.
Does it really? I was going to ask someone to do that.
We'll have to
Good
try
test.
it.
I've never slapped another dude's hand before and said no.
Really?
But
Get your hand out of my jerky bag.
Logan reached for my Moses family jerky.
Yeah.
He got
You said,
smacked.
eat it.
Oh,
Eat
yeah.
it, Logan.
But you did whisper
get-
Jerky Pursuits 15 in his ear, though, didn't
I
you?
should have.
Yeah, that would have got him 15% off the whole
The
website.
entire
Instead of a
website.
hand smacking,
Yeah.
he'll get 15% off.
Could use that money sometimes if you run into the ward.
Tell me about it.
Yep.
Download the podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify.
Like that Spotify
Check
stuff.
out the website, rutandriverpursuit.com,
Go to RuttenRiverPursuits.com.
Twitter.
Instagram,
Instagram.
and YouTube.
Check out those YouTubes.
Follow us individually if you want to. Stevie Miser, his Instagram's going to be hot
That's
this month.
not even close.
Steve Miser on Instagram. Check it out.
That's a little close.
Bad Boy Podcasting.
Oh, yeah.
It's hot.
Another,
Check your regs. All
another
right,
great week. Trout of control.
Here we go.
We'll see you.
Peace.
Down the
hot
back.
frags down the back.
Down the back of my shirt just from slamming the hammer down onto the iron. And
Wow.
but gosh, guys,
You put a whole new
There's
meaning to
that-
putting the hammer down.
that what an experience, though.
Okay.
His hands
Talk
are-
away.
Did you see the picture of his
I don't
neck?
want to hear about turtles. I don't want to hear about Jeeps and cows.
No, it's about Jay and this weekend.
So I was swinging my tomahawk around at 1,200 degrees.
No, it
you
actually
hurt him?
wasn't. No, it was not.
Did you hurt him?
We're
It
not
was
going to be
not
allowed
me.
back.
I would fish right-handed, set the hook, change the rod to the left hand, flip it upside down, and reel backwards.
No way.
And like a second warden had pulled in.
It's
and
like a
these guys
stranger.
These guys were watching me fish left-handed with an upside-down spinning reel, reeling backwards. Like, oh my god, look at this dude.